Hi, my name is Brian Trippe. I'm here in Birmingham, Alabama, and we're currently going through the 10 Commandments of Wholesaling. I'm trying to give you guys give the beginners a really good, clear path to try to find a wholesale deal and do a wholesale transaction. I'd love to help you in any way I can, and doing these videos is one of those ways. So, well, what we've already talked about is step one, you got to network. Okay, you got to break out of your shell and you got to get out there and you got to talk to people first and foremost. Okay, the bigger that your network is, obviously you've heard it said that the bigger your net worth will be. So you've got to get out there and meet people, and you've got to get out there and just break out of your shell and do it. Know the numbers, okay? Really got to know your numbers. You got to know your market area. And we're obviously talking about Birmingham, Alabama right now. You've got to know your market, and you got to know the numbers for that market, street to street, area to area. You got to know your buyer's numbers as well. So that way, if you know he's going to buy it for 50, you got to get it for 45, so you can make some money there. What we just talked about in the last video was finding cash buyers. How to find them, where to find them, who are your cash buyers. In Birmingham, there are specific types of people who are going to be your cash buyer to make the most amount of profit in a wholesale deal. We spoke about that in that last video. I definitely encourage you to go back and listen to that one. And now what we're about to talk about is step 4 in the 10 Commandments of Wholesaling is marketing. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this is something that we could spend hours and hours and hours talking about, because at the end of the day, if you're going to wholesale a real estate deal, you are a marketer. You're not a real estate investor. You are a marketer, okay? This is going to be the single most important thing that you will do if you're going to wholesale anything. You got to find the deal. You got to find the seller, and you got to find the deal. How are you going to do it? I'm just going to give you a few things. Obviously, I can talk for a long time about this, because we feel like here at Alabama Cash Deals, we feel like we are marketers first and foremost, okay? So I don't want to say I've perfected it. I don't want to say I'm an expert, but this is what we spend the most amount of time on, is marketing, because you got to find the deals, okay? You got to find the deals that are off market, okay? So that's the very first thing. So what do you want? So if you're very first starting out, this is what I'd recommend to people. I don't want you to spend a lot of money. A lot of folks go out there and spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 trying to do a yellow letter campaign just because they heard it in a video like this, or somebody said they gotta spend thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, Google AdWords, and do all this stuff to try to build a website and all this stuff. All of it is nonsense. If you're just starting, and those are fine things to do down the road, and we do all those things, and we have done all those things, but not when you're starting out. The last thing I would encourage someone to do is to spend thousands of dollars on a big marketing campaign. It doesn't make sense. What we have done over time is kind of find out what works and what does not work. And so we can help you with that. We can tell you, look, don't do this, it's not going to work. Or if you're going to do this, do it this way and only spend this amount of money, then it'll work a little bit. So we know exactly what's going to work here in Birmingham and what's not going to work, okay? But this is what I'd encourage you to do if you're brand new. Here, I'm just going to give you a few free or very cheap things to do to get started. Because when you're first starting in a business, really like this, or any business you're trying to grow and start, you don't want to invest a lot of upfront capital, especially if you don't have a clear path. You don't know the clear path that capital is going to bring you. If you invest $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 into marketing and it doesn't bring you anything, then you're out that money. You've wasted that money. And we've done all the trial and error for you and for anybody, and we can give you all that information. We can tell you exactly what to do, what not to do. But I'm going to tell you what to do right now if you're brand new starting out. Okay, the very first thing I would do, if I'm starting out, don't have much money, and I want to make money in a wholesale transaction, is I want to go out and drive the neighborhood. And we call it driving for dollars. Okay? It's the very first thing you do. Costs you very, very little. Costs you time and a little bit of gas. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to don't go to the worst parts of town. Don't go to the best parts of town. Kind of find that middle ground. The average house price here in the Birmingham, Alabama area is about $125,000, $130,000 house. You want to go to the areas that are between the houses. They'll retail for between about $80,000 and say $150,000. Any of those areas right there. So some good areas you can drive for dollars in. Our office is right here in Roebuck. There are probably 1,000 vacant houses right now in the Roebuck area. There just probably are. I mean, you can drive around Roebuck and Center Point, and we drive around up here, Pinson and Clay, and we'll go to Irondale, and we'll go to even parts of East Lake. And if you're on that west side of town, you can drive for dollars in Hueytown and Pleasant Grove and Midfield. And I'm not a huge Fairfield guy, but you could go to Fairfield. Some parts of Inslee are okay. Most I stay out of. Those kind of areas where it's the working class neighborhoods. Okay, it's not the worst areas of town. It's not the very, very best areas of town. Those are kind of the areas that I would stick into. Even parts of Bessemer, even McCalla, if you're going that far down, that far south, west and south. So those are some areas where you can just drive around. When you drive for dollars, what you're doing, you drive around, you're looking for an obviously vacant house. And they are everywhere. They really and truly are everywhere. Okay, and I'm not talking about the war zone areas, the really bad areas, the downtown areas by the airport and stuff like that. You want to stay out of those areas for the most part. Okay, I'm talking about even right here in Roebuck and Center Point where our office is. There's 1,000 houses around here. Anyone and everybody could come up here. And so what you do is you just take you a notebook. You drive these neighborhoods very slowly. And you just take you a notebook and jot down addresses. Okay, you're just jotting down addresses. And so what you're going to do with those addresses, once you get about 50 or 100 addresses, I said 50 or 100, you're going to go out there and you're going to go just to the, we go on our computers right here. You can do it online from home, is we just look and see who the owner is. We can go to the Jefferson County Citizens Access Portal. Just Google Jefferson County, Alabama, Citizens Access Portal. Type in the address. It's going to spit you out an owner and their information. Okay. It's going to give you, so there are two addresses when you go to find these. There's going to be the property address, and then there's going to be the mailing address. You're looking for those addresses to be different. If they're different, then you can mail letters or postcards to these people. Or if you don't have a lot of money, go knock on their door. Surprise you how many people would be willing to talk to you because they got a vacant house. They need to do something with it. And so you'd be surprised at how many people actually would want to talk to you about that house and to sell that house to you. So drive for dollars. That's the very first thing I would do if I was just starting out and didn't have a whole lot of money. Number two, get you, spend about $80 to $100. You can go online right now. I usually use dirtcheapsigns.com. Get 50 blank yellow signs that are 24 by 18, okay? And then when you get them, and it's going to cost you, with shipping, it's going to cost you about $80 for that. When you get them, you're going to cut them in half. So now you've got 100 12 by 18 signs. And you're going to write, just take you one of the big Magnum size Sharpies. Make sure you get that, there's the king size, there's the Magnum size. You want to get the Magnum. And you're just going to write, I buy houses, or we buy houses. I buy houses. And you're going to get a Google Voice number for free, and you're going to put your number on here. That's all you're going to do. I buy houses, and you're going to go, when you're driving for dollars, and you're going to get about 50 addresses every single day. And you're going to try to put up 10, 15, 20 signs every single day while you're out there driving for dollars. You can tack them up with a stapler. You can tack them up with hammer and a ridge cap nail. Any of those things. That's what I'm going to do. I've spent very little money doing these things, and I'm trying to find a deal. You can go on Craigslist. So you can go online. There's a couple different places I'd recommend to try to find some deals online. Craigslist is definitely watered down now, but there are still deals to be made out there in Craigslist. Go to forsalebyowner.com, all the For Sale by Owner websites. You can go to Zillow. Zillow even has some stuff. You can go online and just try to find some stuff for sale and just pick up the phone. The great thing about those that are online, they got their phone number and they got their email address on there. You can send them emails. You can just blast out a bunch of emails. Hey, I saw that your house for sale. I'd be interested in looking at it and making an offer. Or what I do, I just send a real short, simple email a lot of the times, and I just use this one sentence. And if I have their email address, this is what I do. I say, hey, I saw that your house for sale. You don't even have to say that part. but I always use this phrase right here. Is your price negotiable? Hey, I saw that your house is for sale. I was just curious, is your price negotiable? That's going to get the conversation started, and that's a really, really good way to start when you're looking for deals. The very first deal I ever did in real estate, I did a wholesale deal. I made $10,000, and I found it on Craigslist. I found the deal on Craigslist, and I sold it on Zillow. That's how I made $10,000. It took me about a month and a half to close the transaction. So there you go. Hopefully I've given you some good stuff to start. This is all free or cheap stuff to do that you can do very, very easily, and I encourage you to do it. There are a lot of sophisticated marketing things that you can definitely get into that we've done, and we've been on TV, we've been on radio, we do Facebook ads, we've done Google AdWords, we've done a lot of stuff, and I can definitely tell you what works the best. If you're interested, just send me a message there, and leave me a message in the comments. If you have any questions, leave me a message in the comments as well. Thank you so much for joining us from the 10 Commandments of Wholesaling, Step 4, which is marketing.